All right, how you guys doing today? Now you know the deal. If you like the art, like the video. If you like my voice, like the video. We get straight into it. Today's story is coming from r/pettyrevenge titled Christmas Pettiness That Kept On Giving. This is a story about my mom and the absolute depths of pettiness that she could sink to. Growing up, we never put any lights on our Christmas tree, and my parents would always say that it was a fire hazard, and would recount a story of one of their first Christmases together where their tree caught on fire. Apparently, my dad had fallen asleep on the couch and was woken up to the kitchen and the living room filled with smoke. He woke my mom up and got her and the dog out of the house, and then ran back inside to check things out. He came out a few minutes later with a tree wrapped in a blanket and threw it into a snowbank, saying that it had caught on fire. Ever since, they had a no lights on the tree rule to prevent a repeat occurrence. So my whole life, we never put lights up on the tree, despite nearly everyone else we knew, including both sets of grandparents, putting lights on their trees. I'd occasionally question my parents about it, and would always get the same fire hazard story. My mom did go to some lengths to make up for it though, with a lot of colorful glass balls that would catch the light, as well as other reflective ornaments. Anyway, years pass, and now I'm an adult, and one year I'm talking to my mom, and the tree fire story comes up. She chuckles and asks if I'd like to hear the real story. And it turns out that many years ago, the tree did not catch fire. What actually happened was my dad decided to fix himself something on the stove late at night. He fell asleep on the couch with the pan still on the hot burner and eventually began to smoke, waking him up. After he got my mom out of the house and realized what caused the smoke, rather than take the tongue lashing about the ruined pan and the irresponsible stove use, he decided to pin the blame on the tree. A few theatrics later, and he thinks he's gotten away with it. He even brought the burnt tree back inside the next day, saying it must not have burnt much because it still looked alright. He might have pulled it off too, had he done more than just thrown the ruined pan into the kitchen trash can. My mom found it in the trash the very next day and put two and two together pretty quickly. She could have nailed him to the wall right then and there, but she decided to play the long game and didn't say a word. See, it turns out that she never cared that much about lights on the tree. It was my dad that really liked them. So next year, and every year thereafter, when they were decorating the tree and had to go put lights on it, she'd remind him that they couldn't put lights on the tree because of the time it caught fire. I don't think she ever intended for this to be a long-running thing, but my dad was stubborn to a fault and never admitted that it was really the pan. So every year she kept his lie going, knowing that he was the one paying for it. She eventually did tell him that she knew the truth, some 30 years later. He had developed cancer and it was his last Christmas, so she decided to come clean. He just laughed and laughed about it. She gave him the option to do the lights on the tree that year, but by then he'd had more years without a lit tree than with, and had grown to prefer the tree the way we always decorated it. Alright, and I hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic day. Peace.